Afternoon. This assignment, I'm required to identify what I find most intriguing about the funeral industry and why. For me personally, I do like the restorative arts, but I think the element of the funeral industry or the funeral itself, that I find most intriguing is aftercare. I feel that is something that is highly taken for granted, and that as a small funeral home, we have the ability to do so. Not only do we give um, of ourselves 24 hours a day to the family once they've lost a loved one, but after the funeral and after the committal, it's important to sometimes just reach out. Fortunately, being a small funeral home in a somewhat small town, you run into people in the community. But sometimes if you don't see someone, occasionally, you just might need to check in, especially if you know they had a really hard time. The aspect of aftercare is sometimes divided up into quadrants, I guess I could say. My father might take certain people and my mother might look after some. It just depends on where that service fell, or who the service was for. For example, one of my lodge brothers, who was very important to me in the lodge and a mentor to me, passed. And when he passed, it was just him and his wife. So now his wife is here in town alone, and she has a goddaughter that checks in on her and children that check in on her, but they don't live in town. So every once in a while, I will call and check on her. And she told me last week that her key fobs on her car stopped working. So I have to go over this week and change out her key fobs. Now, aftercare, does it extend that far? Absolutely not. I think sometimes we have to pick and choose how far we have to extend ourselves to support the community, because when it comes down to it, we don't want to overextend ourselves or overreach to where we're in somebody else's personal information. So aftercare is very important, but you have to be very careful also. Thank you.